Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me. For this episode, I'm going to be telling y'all how it is, how it feels to be gassed inside of prison. And when I say gassed, I'm talking about getting sprayed, the Riot cans, the little cans. I'm going to run y'all through the whole thing. And I want to start off first by showing y'all clips of what I feel is exaggerated and what I feel is realistic.
I couldn't see, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't barely move. The pepper spray experience was terrible and the worst pain I felt in my life.
Turn the water up. Turn it up.
Now that was complete bullshit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That was complete, like, bro, you acting like your body's shutting down. It's the worst pain of... Nah, none of that. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Okay, please.
COC, open your eyes.
You gotta open your eyes, or you won't know what the hell you're gonna hit!
Get back! Get back! Get back!
The recruits run out of the gas chamber. Effects of exposure can include intense burning in the eyes, throat, and on the skin, and profuse discharge of mucus.
Now that's a little bit more realistic with the snot bubbles, but let's jump into it. I'm gonna tell y'all my experience about getting gassed, because I got gassed, I believe, twice, maybe once more. I was in the cell with people that have been gassed. I've been on the compound with people while gas has been going off. Now my first time getting gassed was at Lancaster CI. So I had the weekend shift come through. This was the shift that actually placed me in confinement. I was kicking the door down because they were bucking me on my food trays. They would either take it off the tray off camera because it was cameras inside of the confinement dorm, or what they would do is they would just try to throw it into the cell through the flap with the goal of having the food spill out on the floor. Either way, they weren't feeding me. So I'm kicking the door down. Brrr. Captain comes, he leaves. Brrr. And they came with that gas. Now, there's levels to the gas that they use within the Florida Department of Corrections. All of the COs will carry the little, miniature. It's just a little can of spray. It's not that serious. It really isn't. I mean, they all are supposed to carry it. You can get sprayed with this stuff and it's not going to really stop anything. It might disrupt something, but whatever's going down can continue if the people have the will to continue. So if there's a fight, if there's a stabbing, they start gassing with this little can, it really isn't that effective. People will continue to fight. People will continue to stab. Then you have the Riot cans. The Riot cans being that they have a handle. If you've ever paintballed before, it looks like a paintball tank with a handle on it. It's huge. They nicknamed this Black Jesus Burns. You were gonna feel like a sizzling jalapeno inside of Florida State Prison. This stuff here, it's on another level. But these big cans are generally only used on the rec yard because the force that's coming out of this big can, you can feel it. It's a strong force. It's a lot of spray. You don't really use that on 1 to 2 people. You're going to use that if, 15 to 20 people start crashing on the rec yard. They're going to mow them all down with the gas. And I mean, it's hitting you. It's more effective than the smaller cans. Kicking the door down. They came through with the gas. I didn't even know. They quietly came in. They didn't announce anything. They didn't even come with the camera crew. So they're supposed to record it when it goes down. They stand outside of your door. Inmate, are you refusing to comply with the orders? And the dude will be in the cell. Fuck you. And just it goes down. They were administering chemical agents. They pop the flap. They get to shooting it in there. You know what I'm saying? For me, they didn't do nothing. They snuck in like it was Splinter Cell back in the day. They crept up. I'm on the top tier. I'm talking to my bunkie, Lancaster. The bunks, they're both on the floor. So Lancaster was a bit different with the confinement cells. These were like suites in a hotel. You know what I mean? Sumter was like the projects. Appalachia was like a hotel, motel. And then, you know, you had Lancaster, which was by far the biggest cells I've ever been in. It wasn't top and bottom. It was side by side, way more space. So, you know, I'm sitting there nonchalant talking to him. I know I've been kicking the door down. All of a sudden I hear the flap. Boom. I look over and then I quickly turn. That's how they spray you with these big ass cans, right? When it's a little one, they'll dump the whole thing. They'll just, it's nothing. It's not that big of a deal. But when it's the big one, they hit you with a 3-shot burst. When I felt the gas hitting me, my shirt immediately was soaked, but it was pulling my shirt in the direction of the spray. Like the spray's force was so strong. I was surprised by that. I didn't think it would be hitting like that. I thought it was more so of a mist, but it hits you and you feel it. I put my head down, and the thing about the gas is it doesn't burn immediately. Like, it's not like you're getting set on fire immediately. That's why I say there's so many exaggeration videos and people, it's just, it's not like that. You know what I mean? You can get up and fight. You can put your middle fingers up.
Put one of those fingers on each hand up.
It isn't that serious, but the difference, which is the major difference, is getting sprayed in an open area like a dorm or a rec yard and getting sprayed inside of a cell. Because what it does that causes people to panic is it depletes the room of oxygen. You can't breathe. That's the first thing you realize is when you try to breathe in, it's just, it stops. It's like something is just grasping your throat. No air is going in. But if you can keep your mind calm, it's almost like choking. If anyone's ever choked before, you know, you have to keep your mind calm and be like, okay, let me try to figure this out. You know, the steak is really good. I don't want to end up wasting it all. And then, you know, you calm yourself down and you figure out what the issue is and you get it out. If you ever got a chip stuck in your throat or something like that. And, you know, so I got my face down into my bunk and I'm just trying to control my breathing. I know I'm not going to die. My bunkie's over here freaking the fuck out. I can't breathe. I got asthma. Let me out. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's folding for his quarter. My eyes are watering. You got to keep your eyes shut. You know what I'm saying? And then the mucus, you feel the mucus, but you really don't at the same time. Because there's so many other factors going on at the same time while all this is happening. Like, the mucus is the last of your worries. So you're really just trying to breathe. The breathing really isn't getting any better. You know what I'm saying? They'll pop it down. They'll gas you again. And what ended up happening was my bunkie folded first. He went to the door. They popped the flap. They cuffed him up. I went to the door, I cuffed up. Now at this point, like I said, it really isn't, you know, that bad aside from just choking. And when you cuff up, you can't put your hands over your mouth. So you're really starting to choke and it kind of sets in that panic mode again. It really doesn't matter what you do. You can take your mat, put it against the door. You can try to prep yourself as much as you can. Soak your shirt with water, put it over your face. Either way, you're going to choke. You know what I'm saying? So once they actually popped the door and we walked outside of the cell, I don't know how to really explain it. Like, you literally feel like you just walked into a new world. Your lungs open back up. Like, everything, your health bar goes up at least 75% the second you walk out of that cell. You can just, and you're coughing and all that. But now is when you feel the mucus coming down your nose, you're coughing it up. I mean, it's nasty as hell. You got boogers hanging out. And when I was taken out of the cell, the funny thing is, the CO that gassed me was the same CO that cuffed me up when I got fired up in the back of my head, which was the reason that I went to confinement. And he was a cool CO. Like, he would let us get away with certain things. If people wanted to fight, he would let them fight as long as it ended at that. And he was the one I was saying, like, you know, my head, it isn't bad, da-da-da. Like, I can fix this. I'm good. He's told me, you know, you need stitches. Like, you got a hole in your head. So it is what it is. I can't really blame him for having to do his job like that, whatever. And me and him had no bad blood. But the sergeant in confinement made him gas me. So the CO, the one CO that I was kind of cool with at Lancaster, ends up flaming me up. He takes me out, and you can tell he feels bad for me. It's just like, all right, buddy, just walk down the stairs carefully. I'll hold you. I'll make sure you don't fall. And he did. He held onto my arm while I'm handcuffed, and I slowly walked down the stairs because you really can't see anything. You keep your eyes shut. It just feels better to do so. And they walk you to the shower that's specifically designed for people that just got gassed. It's like a little cage shower. It's got a metal door. And they put you in there, and it has a high pressure, faucet that shoots out extremely cold water. But you don't mind the cold when you're burning. And at this point, like I said, I wasn't even really burning that bad. Like, you feel it, but it's just like, it's not that serious. Or at least it wasn't to me. Everyone's different. But they put you in there, and they bring like a little, poster board or whatever that's standing on stilts. And they put it in front of the shower, and that is when they actually brought the camera in, and they started recording. So the whole thing was supposed to be recorded. They didn't start recording until I was already in the shower. And that's honestly how they get away with abuse. Because when they do cell extractions and things like that, if they're not recording, inmates are going to get beat down, and that's how things pop off. But anyways, he's recording me. They got the poster, and it's about, to my waist down so that they don't see everything that's downstairs on camera. And I'm in this freezing shower, and I'm just screaming, my dick, it burns. And, I'm kind of like acting an ass in here and being dramatic. Like, I'm not taking it that serious. People on the door, they're laughing in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm literally in a quad with a whole bunch of my brothers, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's taking it that seriously. You got gassed. It isn't a big deal. I didn't feel abused or anything. So the captain's like, shut your mouth, inmate. I'm like, it burns. And that's the thing is, when you get in that water, the liquid gas travels down your body. You know what I'm saying? That's what really activates that burn, is when you get under the water and it starts traveling and going down your ass cheeks and your manhood, and all of that gets flamed up like you're just laying on a fucking grill or something. Everything just starts cooking. So you get out of the water to turn another part of your body in. Now this pot's sizzling. So you got to get this pot back in. Now this pot's sizzling. And you're in here for a little bit, and then they're like, all right, we're going to cut the water off. They cut it off. Now you're cooking. Now you feel that burn, that irritation. You're like, oh, shit. What? Let me put the water back on. What the fuck? And you got to cuff up. And they take you on camera to another, quad or whatever. This was L dorm at Lancaster, so they took me into 2 because L1 was a Zoe house. It was actually an open dorm in confinement. It was a regular dorm though. L2 was AC. L3 and 4, I believe, were DC confinement. So AC is where you're going to go if you're under investigation. AC is where you're going to go before you get your disciplinary hearing and are actually sentenced to confinement. And then you're going to go to 3 and 4. So when I go into 2, first person I see under the stairs is Red Light. So I walk in, I'm looking at Red Light looking at me like, damn, bitch, like, they done fired your ass up. But he can't say anything. Because, I got the captain with me. I got the other COs. I'm on camera. And they put me in the cell. You know what I mean? And the same CO that gassed me, that cuffed me up when I got hit with the brick, and he pulls up a chair and sits outside my cell. And, I'm not cuffed up at this point. The captain, everybody else left. And, so I walk up to the window and I'm like, Why are you sitting outside my cell? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I gotta watch you for the next hour to make sure you don't die. What the fuck you mean you gotta watch me so I can die from this shit? Well, yeah, sometimes there's people that'll have medical complications and they can die. Why the fuck did y'all spray me then? What the fuck? Why do y'all even have this? If I can die and you have to watch me for the next hour to make sure I don't, y'all shouldn't have this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I never thought anyone was dying off of this shit until he said that. He basically told me, like, I didn't want to do it. You know what I mean? But the sergeant made him do it. And I was like, bro, I already know. You don't got to explain yourself. And we kind of just We talked a little bit, but he couldn't really get caught talking to me. Otherwise, it would look like there was a problem between us if one of the sergeants or whatever in the booth saw communication between me and him. And then not only that, like the dorm quiet as shit, so you not really trying to like just keep talking to dude. Like he ain't my friend, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't a bad CO at the same time. And during this hour, this is when I'm sitting here, my body is just irritated. Everything's burning. You don't want to lay down. There was nothing even in the cell with me. There was no mats or nothing. Everything just sucked about this experience. Like this whole little hour period, and then later on. And what'll happen is after he left, you know, I get on the door, start talking to my people. What'll happen is the gas will reactivate throughout the night. So, you know, you'll have a moment where it calms down and you don't want to lay down on where you got gassed. This is around the time I noticed my skin was raw. You know what I mean? Like it burnt the fucking skin off. I'm looking at my ribs and everything, and I'm just like, why? What the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Acid? Like, what did y'all spray me with? And it's just pink. The gas was reactivating throughout the night. So I'd be laying there and I'd feel all right. And then all of a sudden, I'd flame back up and I'd start pacing in the cell. It's just an irritation like nothing I felt. You know what I mean? It's honestly the after effects that's worse than the beginning, the initial, you know, getting gassed in itself. I was gassed again at Appalachia CI. I got a fighting DI. They said we refused to stop fighting. They gassed us, and they only hit us with a mini can, and it honestly wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? It was the most, like, petty gas. It was nothing like that Riot can that I got hit with. And honestly, I bring this up because I watch these videos on YouTube of people getting gassed, they're gassing each other just to see how it is. And then, you know, there's women that carry pepper spray for protection. I believe if somebody really wanted to do something to you, that spray is not going to stop anything. That little petty, it's not doing nothing. And we don't have paintball guns or pepper spray guns or anything like that in Florida prisons. I've seen like jail shows where they have them. We never had anything like that. We had tasers in our jail, and thank God they don't have tasers in the Florida Department of Corrections because I don't want to get tased. I ain't never been tased. I don't want to be tased. But that pepper spray, overall, it's like a 3 out of 10. Like, it's not that serious. Yeah, it'll burn, it'll sizzle, but you can easily get over it. You know what I mean? You can easily get over it. I've seen COs at Lancaster spray people. They'll have it on their glove, and they'll lick the goddamn gas trying to show that they're gangsters. That it's not, oh, I put this in my food, mate. This ain't nothing to me, boy. It ain't nothing serious. So don't be fooled by these videos and these reactions. And you know, maybe in the future, if somebody wants to donate me some pepper spray. Actually, in Massachusetts, I think you have to have a gun license just to own pepper spray. Like, you have to have a license to carry. So we might have to do this in another state. Probably go back down to Florida. But maybe in the future, I'll do a video and I'll have somebody dress up as a CO and spray me, and we'll see how many rounds I can take before I tap out. But hey, it's 1090 J. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Till next time.